He didn't just say what he was doing and why we were doing it. It wasn't just TO said, TO says we will do this, so thus we will do this. He didn't say AFI says we will do it over here, so we're going to do this. Be happy about it. He figured out why we had to do it, got to the root of the problem, the root of the reason that they did it, and then explained it to those people, and explained it to some of his youngest airmen, so they had to buy in. And they could explain it to the other people that were coming to the shop. I think this is one of the roots of his success, not only as a military member, but as a civil employee. It was not surprising that in 2008, Mr. Mate earned the PACAF Lieutenant General Leo Marquez Award again. He was also noted from the LO Product Improvement Team, Steve, as the single reason for third wing success, and the SCO noted Mr. Mate has Air Force's best SACS management process. In 2008, there was a promotion opportunity in Metals Tech. A little bit smaller shop, a little bit slower on a day-to-day basis. Nevertheless, it wasn't going to slow Mr. Mate down. Well, he was told a couple of times, hey, we have a little more time to do things here in this shop, so ease up. He took that energy and applied it to new technology, seeking approval from engineers, and training airmen on some of the best and most advanced pieces of equipment in the United States Air Force. I've never seen someone touch so many aspects of a base from one shop. And this is just a small sample of the places that he affected with his capabilities in the Metals Tech shop. F-15 phase was here. HSC, ejection seats, age, props, MUNs, CE, foreign aircraft. In fact, when I went down to talk to the shop the other day, they're working with CE right now, milling down manhole covers so we can make them a little bit smaller, save a little bit more asphalt, and get more money and make things a little bit more efficient here across the board through CE, 4 Jaybirds, the entire installation. That's just what Mr. May did. And it's not just him, it's what he instilled in that shop. The answer isn't, yeah, we don't do that here. It's, yeah, we can make that happen. Let's figure out how we can work together. You help us, I'll help you. And that was the environment that he created in that shop, in every shop that he's been to. He drove innovation in the Metals Tech shop. He researched and purchased the best equipment in the Air Force. 5-axis milling machine, PACAF first and only in PACAF, and one of only a few in the entire Air Force inventory to include our depots. He pushed section members to know how to use and operate this equipment, and they were driven to want to know how to use and operate this equipment. Again, I can't tell you the number of Metals Tech shops and sheet metal shops that I've gone into that half the members in the shop actually know how to use all these equipment. Metals Tech shop, everybody not only knows how to use them, but they're driving to learn more, to figure out how we can push it further. Where do we get the next piece of equipment that's going to do the next thing for us? How do I push the bounds of what the Air Force is even going to allow me to do? And then once they say that's enough, how am I going to push it beyond that? 2010, once again, he was selected for PACAF Lieutenant General Leo Marquez Award. All the accolades and accomplishments so far are definitely stand out, definitely something to behold, and hugely impressive in his 15-year career. But there's a couple that stood out to me, and they're maybe not the ones that you hang on the wall, but they kind of explain to me who Mr. Mate was or is. A CUI, a Combined Unit Inspection, 0 findings, Metal Tech section. PACAF UEI, 0 findings. PACAF SPA came in, best seen to date. These are the things that I was able to immediately attribute to Mr. Mate because of his attention to detail. These are the things that speak to his standards in his shop and how he conducted himself and what his expectations were as airmen, regardless if that was civilian or military airmen in the shop. I had suspected it before talking with the members down at the shop, but they certainly confirmed it. Mr. Mate had his standards, he had his routines, and he had his expectations. And you can notice that as soon as you walk into Metals Tech, and you can still see it in some of the other shops they work in as well. You walk in the door, Metals Tech is one of the oldest buildings that MXS owns, and arguably one of the oldest buildings on this installation, and you literally can eat off the floors in that building. There's oil, there's metal, there's water, there's welding, all this is going on in that building, and there's not even a fingerprint on the walls. Not that people allow there to be a fingerprint on the walls, but there isn't a fingerprint on the wall. Even if somebody came in for weekend duty, you'd immediately, hey, who was in here? Why were they here? What's that on the floor? Why is there a tire mark over there? What was going on? He noticed it that minute, that instant. And he was always the first one in. He had a pretty varied routine. He'd come in every morning and walk through the building, check everything, turn everything on, and that varied. Not every day was the same. Some days he might be 30 or so seconds later than he was yesterday, or 30 or so seconds earlier than he was the other day. So there was a little variance, but not a whole lot. And I'm not even gonna mention the clock and the microwave. It's not surprising that this translated to perfection in the shop. Machines were perfectly aligned, perfectly tuned, ready to be used at a moment's notice. They were clean. The newest stuff that he could get. In fact, they told me a story that the machine wasn't exactly where he wanted it. They picked up a several ton machine, re-leveled it, removed it about 2 inches, so it was exactly where it needed to be. That was his way of doing business, but that was a standard, and it wasn't questioned. It was encouraged. It was, okay, I got it. He was, again, able to explain why it is that this is the best way, best flow, best way to do this for this shop, and thus for our airmen going out into their shop when they have to run one. With all that said, it might sound a little OCD, but he was certainly not opposed to change. But the change had to be for a reason and it had to be perfect. With all that, he never explained it. He never failed to explain that change either. This is why we're going to move forward and do this. This is why we're going to do this. And sat everybody down if we needed to, so they understood what was happening, why we were doing it, and where we're going to go next from there. I believe this is why he was such a good leader. You need to be able to, he recognized that you needed to be able to teach an old dog new tricks. He even used those words himself. He says, an old dog, new tricks. He recognized that he might have been that older dog in the shop, but he wasn't afraid to get out there and figure out what the newest, best, biggest, brightest, fastest was. He also said, I had to make sure I kept an open mind. The young airmen coming in and the new civilians coming into the shop are going to have seen things and have exposure to things that I might not have. And I got to listen to what they have to say and listen to their leadership. Make sure I learn from every single one of those people that come in and I come in contact with. So that way, I can glean what I can from the good, and I can learn from the bad, and vice versa. They can learn the same thing from me. Being able to adapt to the new generation, I think, is key, and that was one of the things that I think made him so successful. And I keep coming back to this, but it's the why. Our new generation now wants and needs to know why, and it's not the kick in the butt and go do it because I told you to do it, and everybody's cool with that. They do want to know why, and he was able to do that. That was kind of his cornerstone of his leadership style. Airmen and fellow civilians not only operated within Mr. Maid's standards, they wanted to, most of them. But even the ones that didn't necessarily conform to Mr. Maid's standards or put his buttons as much as they possibly could, he's recently gotten phone calls back from him kind of going, I got it. Now I know why I did that. Or I missed Mr. Maid. So a couple of them that said that. So this is why Metals Tech has been so successful, and it's no surprise that he's aced all of these inspections. Excuse me. In cutting edge technology and machinery, he was able to get this by proving that he could work with the capacity that it was given. So a couple of the examples that I wanted to bring up because they were, again, significant to me as well. Kadina's AMAT fixture, again, going back to F-15s. We had since gotten rid of the F-15s here. Kadina was still flying them. Rather than sending the AMAT fixture back to the depot, which is kind of a coveted piece of equipment for the depot, they allowed it to be sent up here for Mr. Maid's team to work and fix and send back to Kadina. They fabricated a C-17 Longeron first at field level. F-22 Irkham bucket bracket. I was here a little less than a year ago. Completely reverse engineered it. Not only did they reverse engineer it, they had to work with engineering and developers to make not the software they designed it on to communicate with the software that they were going to cut the thing on. And once they did practice cuts, that bucket fit first time perfect. Was able to justify a 3D printer first in the Air Force. And we've gotten a whole lot of Air Force attention because we have it. Not only have we gotten one, we're already in the process of getting the second one. We're able to use this to reverse engineer, practice fit, and figure out how to map things using laser mappers and 3D modeling in order to build parts for the United States Air Force. And we're already working towards trying to kind of incorporate Metals Tech and be able to be a source of supply. This is all things because Mr. Maid was there to be able to push this and get his airmen to follow along and push with him. Once again, in 2014, Mr. Maid earned PACAF Lieutenant General Leo Marquez Award and Air Force Association Outstanding Civilian Engineer. However, I spent a lot of time talking about all the amazing things, and I wish I could have gone through everything. In a 15-year career, I probably could have spent an hour up here talking about all the amazing things that he's done or what his shop has done.